Three.
Good morning. My thesis statement is research suggests that private and public policies are not meeting the needs of women, as women in the workplace are still making an average of 23% less than their male co-workers, and gender discrimination is still prevalent in the job field. A class action lawsuit based on gender discrimination that's going to impact more than 1 million current and former Walmart employees has the issue of workplace gender discrimination in the headlines again. In the 50 years since World War II, almost half of the full-time homemakers in the United States have joined the paid labor workforce, yet research is still showing that women are making an average of 23% less than their male coworkers. Private and public policies need to start meeting the needs of today's working women. In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about two main points. Women are still making an average of 23% less than their male coworkers, and gender discrimination is still existing in the workplace today. So despite a sense of continued progress toward gender equality in the workplace, research still shows that women in the workplace are making an average of 23% less than their male coworkers. So as you can see on this visual aid here from the American Association of University Women from 2011, starting in 1971, the gender pay gap was 60%. And you can see it slightly grows here, and even as women's rights increased in the 1990s, there's a bit of a peak. However, while it still grows, not very much. The growth is very gradual. So in a 1991 study for the Urban Institute, Elaine Sorensen found that men make more for a year of education, more for a year of experience, more for a year of training, and so forth than women do. In another study for the U.S. Department of Education, they found that women in their 30s actually have more education, and yet men are still being paid more. A large part of the gender pay gap is due to simple discrimination against women in the labor market, whether they are mothers or they are childless. In the book, The Cost of Being Female, that was written by Sue Headley and Marjorie Elfin in 1996, they point to two types of discrimination taking place. First is statistical discrimination, which is similar to prejudice. It's like judging a person on the average characteristics of the group to which that person belongs. An employer will refuse to hire a woman because based on the average women in the workforce, they seem to be dropping out to have children. So that employer assumes that this particular female will also quit. And they think they're not going to get a good return on their investment. The other form of discrimination is taste discrimination. And that takes place where members of one group do not like members of another group. An example of that would be that an employer may not like women in general. They're not going to hire them unless maybe they can save the company money by paying them less. Or other employees in the company don't want to work with a woman or for a woman, so they demand to be paid more or they won't work with a female. That wraps up what taste discrimination describes. My last point is that the social world is organized from a male perspective, and it doesn't allow many women to successfully balance motherhood and work. According to Sandra Bem's viewpoint in Women Face Significant Discrimination from 1997, she points out that the work world just does not meet women's needs because it's viewed by the world that men are able to take care of the financial household while women are to stay home and take care of the children. The responsibilities of being a parent are not coordinated into the workforce. So in closing, women are making an average of 20% less than their male co-workers even when they have more education and more experience. Gender discrimination still exists in the workplace today in many forms, being demonstrated through taste and statistical discrimination. Private and public policies need to start meeting the needs of working women, not just to loosen constraints on women and not to provide benefits for them. It is unjust to have systematic gender bias in employment, in offices, in the home, and in political life. Women are rational beings, they have moral and legal rights, and are equal to fair treatment. In order to even compete in the world today, we've got to get rid of inefficiency of discrimination, as women's talents are not being used where they will be most effective in today's current situation. So we can eliminate gender discrimination. It's actually been estimated in Headley and Elfin's research that the nation's gross domestic product would be 15% greater. So government's got to step in to remedy the gender discrimination, because if something is not done about this on a national level, women in society and actually children will lose out on opportunities for growth and success. Questions?
Could women perhaps be responsible for the pay gap Is it ultimately their choice to take a job that pays them less so that they have more flexibility taking care of their family?
Actually, blaming women's child care responsibility for their low wages suggests that women are perhaps victims of choice. So, however, the fact is women take care of the family because men won't. This could be a rational choice for many families, as we are lucky to have women willing to do that unpaid work of raising the family. Society would be worse off if our kids weren't well cared for, and still societies fail to develop policies so that women can attain economic equality and independence. Other question?
It seems employers could complain that it's too expensive and bothersome for them to take women back after maternity leave. Does it harm productivity to take women workers back after they've been gone for a longer period of time?
No, it is actually the opposite. If a woman is in a career position, her job knowledge is very good, and while she leaves, it could get a little bit rusty, but upon her return, it would not cause less productivity because women are good workers and intelligent. It takes more time and great expertise to train new workers just to replace them. So it actually makes better sense for an organization to save their place for their return. Plus, if society wants to bear and rear children for the future and for the future of the organizations for the country, then society should help with paid paternal leave and subsidized child care. Thank you.